Now to control your breathing. So we're going to breathe in through our noses and breathe out through our noses. So breathe in and feel the air going into your lungs and filling you up with air, and then feel the air going out as you empty your lungs as the air goes out. So feel the air going in, feel the air going out, feel the air coming in, feel the air going out. Feel the air coming in, feel the air going out. Feel the air coming in, feel the air going out. Okay. Spanish gastronomy. Every part of Spain has something delicious to offer. So now we're going to think of all those delicious dishes that come from each of these places. Let's start with Asturias. So I want you to think of a piping hot plate of fabada, those white beans in the bean stew. Now, if we go to País Vasco, think of those beans from Tolosa. Tolosa beans with cabbage and black pudding with vegetables. If we go to Cantabria, we can try the Santander rice with salmon and milk. Delicious. If we go to Aragon, chicken casserole, or lamb casserole, pork casserole, these lovely hot stews. If we go to Melilla, thinking of the taste of potatoes and fish. When we go to Galicia, pote or sopa gallego, that tasty soup with beans and potatoes and cabbage. Delicious. If we go to Rioja, potatoes and spicy chorizo sausage. Think of that. If we go to Navarra, think of the boiled mixed vegetables. If we go to Catalonia, spare ribs, potatoes and vegetables all stewed together. Think on that. If we go to País Vasco, marmitaco is that tuna stew with potatoes and vegetables. In Castilla y León, think of the judiones de la granja, butter bean stew. And then if we go to Andalucía, the tortilla de Sacromonte, they stole the lamb which they were going to eat, and so they had to make an omelette with what they had left. A little bit of offal. Not everybody's cup of tea. Asturias, fish stew. If we go to Aragon, migas, which is breadcrumbs fried with sausage and bacon and chorizo. Delish. We go to Catalonia, rabbit stew and rice, another delicious meal. Think on that. And if you think of couscous, Moroccan style, all those lovely vegetables on a bed of couscous. Valencia. Think of the white bean stew with meat. And if we think of Castilla-La Mancha, guiso de Galianos, which is like a stew of meat and vegetables done with this type of flatbread. Interesting. Madrid, the typical cocido madrileño, that's a stew or soup or both with lots of meat and chickpeas and vegetables and cabbage. And the Canary Islands, Los Mojos, the red or the green with potatoes, fish and meat. Think of that. If we're in Extremadura, gachas, which they make with almorto, which is grass pea flour. They mix it with bacon and garlic and paprika, and it's quite tasty. If we go to País Vasco, think about the broad bean stew, habas de Vitoriana, with ham and chorizo and bacon, onion and garlic. In Catalonia, think about botifarra y mongetas, which are like Cumberland sausages with white haricot beans fried with garlic and herbs and bacon and things. Valencia, they have arroz a la alcireña, which is rice done in the oven basically with sausages and chickpeas. Think of that. Think of that and how delicious it is. Murcia, michirones, which is a kind of stew made with broad beans and is really hot and spicy. Castilla-La Mancha, el mortoruelo, which is like a puree of pork and liver and poultry and things. Tasty. If we go to Castillo, cocido maragoto, which is basically cabbage and chickpeas with meat and potatoes, onions, sausage and chorizo. Think of all that. Now if we go to Murcia, they make a wonderful fish soup. Think of that hot, piping hot fish soup. In Catalonia, the escudella, which is very slowly cooked meat and vegetables and chickpeas. And they serve it with a kind of meatballs. Valencia, the home of paella, but the paella alicantina, which is with meat. Delicious. Think of that. And the Canaries, the puchero canario, with courgettes and patatas and maize or sweet corn on the cob, basically, Madrid, typical callos a la madrileña. They'll tripe in a very rich sauce. Think of Catalonia and their arroz a banda. This is a fish and rice and prawns, tomato. Quite delicious. Think of that. If we go to the Balearic Islands, the huevos al estilo Soler, which are eggs but with spicy pork sausage and a kind of a paste underneath it. Delicious. Think of Galicia and their lacon con grelos, which is boiled ham with kind of turnip greens. Potatoes, lovely. In Castilla y Leon, there's rice and lamb and chicken and chorizo and all sorts in the champagne. If we go to Andalucía, the Las Habas Malagueñas, broad bean stew, Malagan style. If we go to Extremadura, think of the caldereta de cordero, their lamb stew. If we go to Castilla de la Mancha, todo junto, their rabbit and vegetable stew. If we go to Valencia, del arroz de diario del hortano, rice and spare ribs and vegetables. Really delicious. Then in Castilla de la Mancha, think of the pista manchego, which is the equivalent of ratatouille. If we go to Aragon, borage stew. And in Andalucía, cazuela de fideos, habas y bacalao, cod with pasta with broad beans and vegetables. Very tasty, very tasty. Then in Extremadura, sopa engañadas. They're made from paprika, grapes and figs. Surprise when you eat it. In Navarra, think of the cabbage soup they make there, el sopa de potaje de coles. In the Balearic Islands, they too make a cabbage soup, sopa de col, warm and tasty. You go to Castilla y Leon, the sopa castellana, that simple, tasty soup. If we go to La Mancha, Castilla de la Mancha, sopas de ajo, basically garlic soup. Just bread and garlic and maybe a bit of bacon thrown in for good measure. And then we come to Andalucía. And we find gazpacho, that cool tomato soup so refreshing on hot summer days. Now we're going to relax. So, relax your feet. That's it. Relax your legs. Okay. Relax your hips. Now relax your body, the trunk of your body. Relax your arms. Relax your neck. Relax your jaw. Relax your lips. Relax your eyes. Relax your forehead. Now, imagine that your head is like a balloon and it's floating in the air. So imagine this balloon, your head, is floating. It's weightless. It doesn't weigh a thing. It's floating. It's floating. Think to yourself, my head is floating. My head is floating. My head is floating like a balloon in the air. My head is floating. My body is like a balloon. My arms, my legs, my body's like a balloon, weightless, doesn't weigh a thing. Like a balloon, my body is weightless, it's floating. My body is floating, floating, it's floating, it's floating. My body is floating, doesn't weigh a thing. My body is weightless. It's floating, it's floating, it's floating. My body is floating. My feet up don't weigh a thing. My legs don't weigh a thing. My hips don't weigh a thing. My body doesn't weigh a thing. My arms don't weigh a thing. My neck doesn't weigh a thing. My jaw doesn't weigh a thing. My lips don't weigh a thing. My eyes don't weigh a thing. My forehead doesn't weigh a thing. Weightless, totally weightless. And I'm floating. You're floating in the air like a balloon. My head is like a balloon. My body is like a balloon. Weightless, weightless, floating, floating. My body is floating, floating. My feet are weightless. My legs are weightless. My hips, my body, my arms, my neck, my jaw, my lips, my eyes, my forehead, all weightless. They don't weigh a thing. I'm floating, floating, floating. I'm floating like a balloon in the air. Like a balloon in the air, I'm floating. I don't weigh a thing. My body is just floating. Floating, floating, floating. My body is floating. My legs don't weigh a thing. My feet don't weigh a thing. My hips don't weigh a thing. My body, my arms, my neck don't weigh a thing. My jaw doesn't weigh a thing. My lips don't weigh a thing. My eyes don't weigh a thing. I'm floating, floating, floating. Like a balloon floating in the air. Floating in the air. Weightless. Floating, floating, floating. My body is 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 floating. Floating. My body is 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 floating. peacefully.